Hey YouTube, what's up everybody? I'm going to make this a shorter video. My first video was just an introduction, it was a long one. It, I just wanted to kind of cover most of the bases that I'm going to split up into individual ones so you can get a clearer idea and I can kind of explain everything. I'm hoping that this is something that, sorry, hold on a second, charge is falling out. Um, that can not only help me but help others and keep others from making the same mistakes that I did. Um, I'm gonna try to start from the beginning. I may go. I'm not scripted or anything, so and I may go back and forth. I apologize again for my appearance. I just got out of the hospital from pancreatitis. I was in there for a week in extreme, extraordinary pain. I suffer from chronic pancreatitis, and it's the worst thing ever. It's the worst feeling. There's no way of making it feel good other than them putting you on pain medication. You can't eat. I was there for a little bit over a week, no food or anything like that. And if they do need to feed you, they put tube down your nose into your stomach, and so it bypasses your pancreas, and so no and fluids, just strictly IV fluids. So and pain medication to stop the pain. But since I'm on suboxone, they didn't know how to deal with the pain. They were giving me like little doses of fentanyl here and there, and then they tried to give me Dilaudid and stuff until finally they put me on the little pump, the CDA pump or whatever it's called, CPA, CDA, I forget what it's called. But about now, still not feeling great. It's still in a little bit of pain, but you know, it's nice to be home. It's a lot more comfortable here. And anyways, let's get to it. I want to start with how I ended up in this position that I am. When in my late teens, around 18, 19, I was, sorry, try to get into a more comfortable position. I was um, living in Montreal, and I got an opportunity to take a job in Toronto. Not a job, but kind of start a company. And my father assisted me into it. He brought me into it, and it was a sales position, a wholesale position in fashion. So I was constantly dealing with customers. I created my own client base. I was kind of just thrown into it, and I think that's the best way it could have been done. I didn't know anybody, and I had to go and Google and figure out stores and who I could sell to and where the product would fit in, and I was really good at it. I was always on top of trends, and still am to this day. It's just a natural knack. Um, as I mentioned before, my family's in the fashion business, and so I've always been around it. Anyway, so I would go around and sell to stores that were out there, and I created a very loyal customer base. They liked me. I did a great job, and from then I moved on to well, quite a few other showrooms and distributors were looking and interested, and it's really hard to find somebody who's able to do what I did, and I ended up finding joining cahoots and joining forces with a very reputable um, agency, and I was kind of the director of that agency. Um, had a really awesome office and showroom space, and my boss was almost like a father figure to me, which was amazing, and I took that for granted at the time. Um, I thought I was a big shot. I wasn't even in my mid 20s yet, and I was making a lot of money, and at the same time, I was getting to know everybody in the city, and I had access to anywhere I wanted, and everybody knew me. I knew everybody. Could walk into any place, and you know, I had lots of friends around me, and mostly because of the money I was making and the fact that of who I was at the time. Quickly to learn later on in life, which I'll get into, but I'll quickly mention right now that you know when things get rough, everybody just disappears. Especially when your money disappears and things start going bad for you, you realize who your true friends are. And unfortunately, in my situation with who I was, most of the people that I considered friends and I thought were real friends They weren't at all, so I ended up pretty much with nobody, including family. Um, Gonna try. I got another 5 minutes. I'm gonna try to keep this at 10 minutes long. So what had happened is I'm working for this company, and our distributor, which was a major distributor that worked on both sides of the border, was a company I really wanted to work for at the time because it was going to be good for my resume, and it was kind of a dream job for me. And they wanted me. The bosses were constantly trying to get me from the company and try to do it in a professional manner so that they wouldn't ruin any kind of reputation or or have any conflicts or anything happen between them and the company I was working with because they work together. So this was kind of like a promotion for me, but also leaving the job that I was at. And I still feel terrible for leaving this my boss, this guy that was almost like a father for me. He wasn't just there for work. He was there for everything that was going on in my life at the time. And he gave me all kinds of amazing advice. And I just really regret leaving him the way that I did. And he had warned me about getting into where I was going. But I got to this company and they treated me amazing. They put me on top. Like I said, they chased after me. So they really held me high, and I had a high status with them, and um, I was doing really good. I was launching some craziest, best brands out there. I don't want to name any of them because I don't want to put myself out too much, and I don't want to put them out there either. But I'd worked numerous big brands, and also I had launched a brand out of LA into some of the best stores, and we were doing fantastic as well. I got screwed over in that place, which sucked because the guy that was running the company was one of my best friends, and surprisingly now he's working with my uncle, and I just saw him in the hospital. Great guy, still love the guy, even though what went on and it was done extremely unprofessionally and behind my back. But you know, I forgive. I haven't forgotten what happened, but I forgive. Um, it's bad on both ends. It still kind of hurts now, like because I had approached my uncle with this opportunity a long time ago, with many opportunities that ended other people ended up doing and doing very well and making tons of money. I had plenty of ideas for him, but he always looked down on me like he didn't want to work with family. I don't know what it was. I have no idea. He told me I had too much of an ego, which I did, but I was making things happen. I was doing great. Um, but anyways, when I had just split up with my, at that time I was engaged and I just split up with my fiance. Everything happened really quickly. We got engaged. I felt like I was pressured into this engagement. And one day, while we're having an argument, I get a message from another friend who owned a few bars along Queen Street. I lived right downtown, and he lived just a few blocks away. And he was asking if I knew anybody that would is looking for a roommate because he was looking for somebody to move in with him. And I took the opportunity to say, yeah, I will. And he was surprised, I was surprised, she was surprised, and I ended up really quickly and moved out really quickly. Uh, Before we were married, anyways, we were already going through marriage counseling because sex had ended. I was sleeping around. I was doing my own thing, and as soon as we split up, I realized that that's what I wanted. I was going around town doing whatever I wanted and having an amazing time and working for a very reputable, amazing company. I was in a really good place. Um, I had a trip to Vancouver, and when I came back, it was really late, and I went to my roommate's bar, and he had in the back section where I normally sit, he had um, he had some people sitting there ordering bottles, and it seemed like they were friends of my roommate at the time. And it was closing time. He had to close up, and they were going to an after party. And I would normally after party quite regularly. I was in my early 20s, almost mid 20s, and so I went with these three guys and drove off to a place, this nice building, and go in. And anyways, ended up being locked up for 3 days, and that was hell. It was pretty much tortured and abused and assaulted for 3 days straight until I woke up out of it because I had been knocked unconscious and got up and nobody was there, and I was able to get out. And after that, I don't remember anything other than waking up in the hospital and asking them what day it was. I thought it was like 2 weeks before, and ended up being 2 weeks had passed already, and I've been there in the ICU. And they put me on some heavy medication, which when after I ended up leaving off the drip, they put me on. They'd given me a prescription, and a pain specialist that was prescribing me oxycontin when oxycontin was oxycontin, and heavy doses. They would give me whatever I want whenever I wanted, and that was the beginning of a really bad addiction that I created, which lasted for about 8 months, and which tore me apart, tore friendships apart. I started isolating myself. I wasn't doing well at work anymore, and I ended up quitting the job, which I was going to get fired from anyways. I should have at the moment taken the opportunity because they'd sat down with me. They knew something was going on, and I should have just opened up and been straight up with them because them too, they were like father figures to me. They listened. They were there for me. I don't know. I had it really, really good, and I could have opened up and told them what it was and taken a leave of absence and cleared my head and gotten everything. But I was in denial. I knew I needed to get off the stuff, and so I moved back. I quit the job and moved back to Montreal, and told my family what had happened, and a few friends what had happened. And these people ended up leaving me and pushing me away and not wanting me in their life, just because they thought I was toxic. So for anybody who's gone through something like that, you can only imagine how lonely and how terrible that feels to have people just walk away from you when something so terrible has happened and you tell them about it, and they don't want to be a part of it because they just I don't know. I don't understand it because since I went through it, I wouldn't push these people away. I would try to help them as much as I can. I'd be there for them, and who knows? Everybody works differently, and in my position, I was shunned by pretty much everybody, and went through a lot. I didn't get into any graphic details of what happened because if there's children or children, not children, this is not for children. This video, none of these videos are for children, but anybody young, I just don't want them to hear about everything that went on. You can use your own imagination. This is as bad as it can possibly be. Up to the point of the insides of me being busted up and stuff like that. So, um, shit, it's already 13 minutes into this. So this is one of the videos of how I ended up losing something that I had built for 5 years and losing a relationship and being assaulted and how an addiction started. And next video I'll get into is where that led to. So I'll leave this right now at almost 14 minutes. And I just hope you're all doing well. Anybody going through what I've gone through, I wish you the best. There is help out there. It's hard to get, it's hard to find, and you have to do most of the help yourself. So hopefully these videos will be able to help other people, as well as it's therapeutic for myself to kind of speak about it. So I wish you all well. I hope you have a great day, and I'll try to consecutively put out videos on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis as needed. I wanted to put out some earlier, but yeah.